Love is blind, Clint, and deaf and mute and paralyzed. Clouds. These things are great. They do all the work for you. Clouds with fog and rain machines rush by to their marks, cascading fog and misty rain onto the love-slain George. The clouds have little cat's feet. Ezra Pound reference. Tom. All the world's a stage, all the universe is a movie set. Tom. Never had we had to do another take. Buds into Johnny's managing of everything. Can't really figure it out, so downplays it to make himself feel better. This is not rocket science. Johnny. No, much harder. This is quantum nuclear dynamics. Love. Berling. So then we go to a close-up on Girl and George. Girl goes to George, leans toward George. Camera goes for a close-up. The scene is foggy, dewy, ultra-dreamy. The scene is black and white, and George is entirely black with bruises. George, a la John Donne from The Paradox. No lover saith I love, nor any other can judge a perfect lover. Love's lain low, here I die. Girl, tenderly, proudly tending to him. George, my love's lain darling. With fierce pride and swelling bosom, your noir masterpiece. They talk to each other breathily in the dreamy romance of it all. Even more than the words they say is how they say them. A glimpse is given of how their words, tossed playfully at each other in heaven, are to become famous movie lines down on earth. Scene slowly returns to full color. Girl to George. If you can't be tall, dark, and handsome, at least you can be dark. You're dark. George to girl. I'm black and blue. Girl to George. You're edgy. George. I'm broken. Girl, lauding George. It was a performance so internalized, you gave nothing away. Group. His acting is nothing, he can't even give it away. Girl to George. George is bursting with lion pride. Girl to George. You take fisticuffs and turn them into psychological gestures. Group. He takes his fists and turns them into psychotic gestures. Hands come into picture. The hands operate on George's head, opening it like a lobotomy cap to remove a hyperventilating lemon and a screaming strawberry that become a star-crossed Romeo and Juliet, making mad, passionate love. The hands plaster a head cast onto George. The hands continue arm casts and body casts for George. George to girl, a la Humphrey Bogart, will always have plaster of Paris. A la Ingrid Bergman, kiss me, sliding his hand down girl's body to her posterior as if it were the last time. As George says this, everything becomes brilliant colors of love. George's casts and injuries are gone. He and girl are dressed beautifully, like languid lovers in the afternoon, amidst the passionate exchange. Girl, firmly, oh no you don't. George, why not? Girl, well to begin with I'll always love boy. It doesn't matter. I complain, I fuss and complain all the time. I don't care. I'm God, using her ace. I'm God. George, I forgive you. Girl, I'll love anybody I want, but you can only love me. George, I can handle that. Girl, I'm going to have a terrible past. George, doesn't bother me. Girl, with pain growing desperation. George, you'd have to learn patience, unconditional love, forgiveness, forbearance. George, how many bears are involved? 4 bears look on intently, leaning into the conversation. Girl, you'd have to be totally committed. George is looking injured again with a body cast. George, I'm in the institution already. His body cast looks straitjacket-like. Girl, but you don't understand, in a male voice. I'm a man. Laughs. George, pretending to be oblivious, a la Oswald. Well, Everybody's perfect, especially you. You're a woman. George, again. You don't need me. You're God. You're perfect unto yourself. Girl, what is God without an audience? Girl, George kisses her neck as an adoring audience. This is narcissism at its best. Let Buddha be selfless. God is the holy narcissist. Girl and George are again lovers in the afternoon. The hues are rich with passion, love, romance, and hope of romance. Girl, impressed with George for figuring out the woman wordplay. George, I'll make you wait on me hand and foot. George, girl, I've waited forever. Another hand and foot won't matter. Girl, I'll make you the posterior of my pranks. George, aren't I already? It's all the posterior I get. Girl, triumphant. I'll play you like a fool. Timpani's drums gong sound. George, I'll play you like a piano. He runs his fingers up and down her body. Lists streams of love, plays again. Girl, flirtatious indignation. When you're slapped, you'll take it and like it. George steals kisses all over from her and uses her hand to slap himself. Evermore until she laughs. He even naughtily slaps her elegant hand against his elegant posterior. I don't mind a reasonable amount of trouble. Girl, between anger and laughter, but ceding nothing. You're good. You're very good. George, here's looking at you, kid. Girl, tantalizing. You know how to whistle, don't you, George? You just put your lips together. No. George romances her. The stuff dreams are made of. He does an impressively long, low wolf whistle as he kisses up her entire body. Girl, testing him. Lust isn't love, George. George, it's a very motivating start. Girl, true love makes love. George, true love makes love. Girl, you're a terrible kisser. George, girl, teach me how to be a better one. Girl, you'll always be a terrible kisser. I made you as a terrible kisser. George, because otherwise you wouldn't be able to resist me. Tchaikovsky's piano concertos played dramatically by everyone around them. They are an orchestra playing heavenly audience, watching Girl and George with bated breath. Girl, darkly, mischievously little smile. I can resist you. George, not forever. Girl, more darkly, showing her all-powerful dark. God said again, try me. George, challenging but let me. Girl, melodramatically pushing him away, very Scarlett O'Hara. I'll never love you. Whole universe resounds with her. George, taking hold of her passionately, very Clark Gable. Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn. Kisses her passionately, deeply, with his whole soul, as music swells with fervent passion. From their kiss, visions of heaven and future visions of heaven on earth play as they float ever higher and higher on the upswoon, over orgasmic cloud after orgasmic cloud. That was very therapeutic. So then we go to Girl loves the kiss, but she pushes George away over the edge of the universe. George, crazily as he free falls. I love a woman who rejects me. George lands painfully, but it's worth it to him. It's as if he is momentarily in his cast and injuries again, and before he can register much pain, he's already sailing back up. Over the edge of the universe is a huge, beautiful, heavenly, jeweled trampoline, which bounces him back from where he came. George, to camera, as he is bouncing back up. Who knew? Girl and boy are gazing into each other's eyes, lost in romance. George, emotionally panicking to girl, making a grab at her with his hands and lips, but missing and landing painfully amidst the heavenly props on an elaborate stage next to girl. I'm playing hard to get it. Girl and boy sit down, looking soulfully still into each other's eyes. Girl sits her luscious posterior ever so elegantly on George's face.